What's up, my fellow collectors and customizers? I haven't made a video in a while, so I don't know, I just kind of got the itch to share some progress on a figure that I'm very proud of, my custom Soap Studios Dark Knight figure. This project was inspired first of all by Ibrahim Mustafa. His channel is great, you should check him out. Also by a friend on Instagram, Na Remerd, if that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, let's get into it. First of all, I've customized the box, like I do with all my boxes, to be a little more collector friendly. Fits a lot easier in my tote here. So this video isn't meant to be a full review by any means, because I'm just not done with the figure yet. I'm gonna replace the cape, hopefully get a masked head sculpt at some point. Anyway, but this is what I have so far. And this is on the NW Toys medium body. The process for sanding it down so that the suit could fit on, I've documented that on my Instagram page. Unfortunately, I don't have any landscape footage of that, so if you want to check that out, you can go to my Instagram page. Suffice it to say, I had to sand down the torso area of the NW Toys body just so that this chest armor could fit over it. And if you're going to be attempting this, I would recommend just sanding it down as much as you can, because the chest armor covers the back and the chest and provides all the musculature that you need. So if you get it as small and skinny as possible, this will fit the best, and you won't be able to tell that underneath is skinny. I also had to sand down the deltoids quite a bit so that they were thinner this way, so that the shoulder pads could fit over top of the shoulders. I also separated the shoulder pads from this little piece here. They were originally connected, but just to allow for a little more articulation. All the hands are from the Mafex. I just really like how detailed and textured they are, and they've got the shiny knuckles and just little details on it that make them look way better than the Soap Studio hands, which were a little bit over large and very undetailed. So all the Mafex hands have been kind of drilled out a little bit to allow for them to fit on the NW Toys peg, and they fit on there just fine. These gauntlets are from the Soap Studio, and I just used an X-Acto knife to cut out all of the little indentations there so you could see the cloth poking through. I also separated the elbow pad from this gauntlet so that when it articulates, it looks like that. Unfortunately though, maybe I shouldn't have done that, because I lost one of them. One of them, as you can see, there's the glue stain. It came off. I've looked all over the floor. This happened a while ago, so we may have vacuumed that up and it may be long gone, but still holding out hope that I'll just be crawling on the floor doing push-ups or something, and then I'll just find it. But you can't see it from the front, but that still does bug me. The belt is from the SH Figuarts Dark Knight. I chose this belt because I just think the color looks the best. The Mafex and the Soap Studios belts, they're fine, but they're just very, very gold, and that's not how the belt looks in the movie. This isn't quite accurate in color to the belt in the movie. It's more kind of a less saturated, darker gold. This is kind of more orange in tone, but it works just fine. I just cut right along there. This is the man nipple Bruce Wayne head sculpt. It came on the suited body when they did a re-release of that. Very, very happy to have this. There was a time where I thought I would never be able to get it, because not only was I kind of unfamiliar with man nipple head sculpts, but it was out of stock, and you could only find it on obscure Chinese websites that did not look super trustworthy for a lot of money. But I was able to get this head sculpt with the man nipple Bruce Wayne sell the suited body ended up only costing me like 10 bucks or something. The shoes are just on the NW Toys joint here. I had to drill out the hole a little bit, heat up the shoe and pop that joint in there, but it stays there in the socket just fine. Pops right on to the ankle. The articulation is really good, holds good poses, and it has a lot of range of motion, a lot more than on the original Soap Studios body, which was not a good body. Talking about the cape, I ordered a custom cape from Jackson Shoe, which haven't heard anything back from that in a while. But this cape, the Soap Studios cape, really isn't bad. It's pretty thin, it's soft, but it drapes well with the wire in it. And so, you know, it's not that bad of a cape. So the custom cape is definitely optional. I had the Mafex head sculpt, but I ended up selling that with another custom Soap Studio Batman just to kind of add value to it, and also with the hopes that someday that OT Customs will release a 1/12 scale painted head sculpt. He's released 1/12 scale head sculpts already, but they're not painted, and I just don't have the skill to match this level of detail that we're seeing, not only in the man nipple head sculpt, but in the OT head sculpts. He's done some for McFarlane scale, and it looks incredible. So I think once something like that releases, I'm definitely going to pick it up. And I've held on to the Mafex neck joint, and I'll just modify it so it can fit on the Soap Studios joint here, and hopefully that'll look really good someday, hypothetically speaking. I did have to modify the man nipple head sculpt a little bit to get it to fit, and it's a bit of a messy job, as you can see, but it stays on there just fine. Every time I do customs, I wish there was an undo button like there is in Photoshop, where you make an edit, but you really just don't center it quite right, and you could just undo it and try again. But that's not how it works, unfortunately. But it stays on there just fine. You get some reasonable neck articulation given this style of head sculpt. Here's how he scales with the Felix Toys Heath Ledger Joker. He's a little bit taller, the head's a little bit smaller, but you know, on the shelf they look like they're definitely in scale, and the cloth goods on the Soap Studios jive with the cloth goods on the Felix Toys Joker. So in my opinion, this is the best combo you could have for your Dark Knight 1/12 scale display. Or you might notice that this head sculpt looks different than the original head sculpt. There was something about this one here that just did not scream Heath Ledger to me. The sculpt is there, but there's just something about the way that his hair is laying and his smile that looks like a cosplayer rather than Heath Ledger's Joker. And so just comparing the two here, it's the exact same sculpt. I just cut off a few strands of hair and pushed some of the hair back and glued it in place and repainted it. And I think that alone made a huge difference in the likeness. I also darkened the paint around the eyes, making it so it looked more accurate to the movie. And I added some black paint in his mouth to make it look like his mouth is slightly open, rather than this kind of grin that we never really saw Heath Ledger make that expression, but this one with that open mouth looks a lot more accurate to the movie, I think. Even though if you look closely, you can see his teeth are just painted black. If I had a miniature tiny little Dremel, I'd go in there and create an open space. But anyway, just thought I'd mention that just to let you know that this is the original sculpt, just painted a little bit differently. I'll probably do an update video at some point once I get the custom cape and eventually a masked head sculpt of some kind. If you have any questions about the process, feel free to leave a comment or hit me up on Instagram, Perfect112 Customs. And yeah, that's about it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.